Okay.
I'm kind of looking forward to going to, alright, those streamers lab will bear my personal problems.
All right.
It's all good.
Hey, I don't like shutting the door, but there's some volunteer work going on out there, so just to kind of have it really quiet. Hi, I'm happy you're all here.
Hi, Rabbi.
Hi. This feels like the group that you get when people are aware of the fact that they're going to be spending hours in synagogue on Rosh Hashanah. And, like, they figure like, okay, like, that's enough. So
Some of us are in training for
some of the
that.
training. That's right. So yeah, let's do this here. You can, if you have a book, you can put it somewhere else, and let your give yourself the opportunity to, whether you're sitting in a chair or on the floor, whether you're here with us in the chapel at the temple, or you're at work or home somewhere else, wherever and on whatever it is that you're sitting, whatever your posture is, take the time to really settle into it, and even to enjoy and drink in what it is like to not be running around, what it's like to be quiet and still. In your mind's eye, you might move the camera back a bit or turn the lens to take in your entire body and to let you have an awareness of your entire body. You might visualize the position of your body in space, kind of make a mental picture of your posture. And allow yourself to feel the full substance of your body, the space that your body occupies, the sense of pressure that different parts of your body feel sitting in the chair as you're supported. Sometimes we refer to the fact that one of the piyutim, one of the many, many, many prayer poems that decorate the liturgy of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, they're called piyutim. One of them begins with the words El Melech Yoshev Al Kisei Rachamim. It imagines God on a foundation, on a kisei, literally a chair or a throne of rachamim. Rachamim means compassion. Or mercy. What might it mean to make your seat a seat of compassion? The kind of compassion, the kind of forgiveness and understanding that a beloved friend or someone else who really cares about you would give to you. Kind of generous understanding. Let your seat be a kisei rachamim. Let it be a seat of understanding and compassion as well. Compassion for your own mind and heart. Compassion towards whatever burdens you may carry. whatever inner wrestling is part of your experience. Let your seat be a seat of the kind of compassion that understands and is non-judging and generous. A seat of compassion into which you can be relaxed and at ease. You might let your attention shift to some place within your body that feels to you this day in this moment like your inner home, like the center of your being. Anatomically, it can be anywhere. But let your attention rest on that inner space. Some might call that the heart, or consciousness, or soul, or awareness. But just be with that inner part of yourself. I have this anthology at home. It's a book called A Treasury of Thoughts on Jewish Prayer. Many quotations, many authors, and there is one in which the author suggests that meditation and prayer like this can be an opportunity to get reacquainted with one's own soul. The author of the quotation suggests that almost like when we haven't seen someone for a long time, we may begin to forget their mannerisms or the way their voice sounds or some of their facial expressions. And similarly, the author says, when we go for a long time without taking this kind of time, we can begin to become fuzzy and forget what our own mind and heart and soul looks like, sounds like, feels like. So as you sit here in this seat of compassion, give yourself the opportunity to become a little bit more acquainted or reacquainted with that grounded inner place. And should a sense of gratitude bubble up in this remembering of your inner life, your consciousness, your soul, just feel that gratitude. Perhaps acknowledge the mysterious beauty of your own existence, your own life. So, staying with this focus on the interior body, this interior awareness, let your attention shift as it might to encompass the experience of drawing breath, in-breath, followed by out-breath. This nishmat chayim, this breath of life, the breath carrying life-giving oxygen to every cell of the body, through the blood, through the lungs, and the out-breath carrying away that which the body does not need. We'll spend a couple of minutes just staying with the sensations of breathing, and as many times as we need to, coming back to the breath when we realize that our attention has wandered. Let's sing together. Ozi v'zimrat ya. The Eternal is my safety and my stronghold, vayihili lishua, and in this there is uplift and again safety. Sing this through a few times. Ozi v'zimrat ya, vayihili lishua. Ozi v'zimrat ya, vayihili lishua. Zimrat ya, vayili Imratya Vayeli Lishua. Okay. Please don't rush. Take your time. And if your eyes have been closed, whenever you feel like you're ready, you can let them open. And we're gonna pick up with some of the weekday evening prayers, beginning on page 4. You got some extra copies here? Do you want a copy?
Sorry, I was late, so I didn't want to.
No problem. There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, come sit. We're gonna move over to page 4 for Baruch Hu. Again, when I, for the standing parts, you can stand or sit, whatever you like. But we're at Baruch Hu on page 4. Oh, so because Rosh Hashanah is coming, I'm gonna try and paint this little service with as many of the nusach, as many of the kind of Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur melodies as possible. So hopefully we can just roll with this here. So here we go. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Page 6. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah poteh sharim, u'bitvudah mishaneh itim, u'machalif et hazmanim, u'mesader et hakokavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, goel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, Uma'avir yom u'mevi laila, uma'avgil ben yom u'ben laila, Adonai Tzvaot Shemo, El Chai v'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai HaMa'ariv Aravim. And Ahavat Olam on page 8. Ahavat Olam Be'Yisrael, Torah u'mitzvot, uchim u'mishpatim, otanu emadeta, al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shrofenu, v'kumenu l'asiyah b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu, v'yorech yameinu, uvahem negei olam v'layla, negei olam v'layla, v'yahavta tasir, Mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malachuto Le'olam Va'ed. Welcome to have a seat. And we're going to continue with the V'ahavta on page 12. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochti mitzavecha hayom ha'levavecha Vishinantam levanecha v'dibartam v'shivtecha v'diktecha u'v'lechtecha v'aderech u'shoktecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'yisharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. We're going to continue on page 16 with Nikamocha. More Nusach. Here we go. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef elem, malchutecha ra'u vanecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'eh liyanu ve'yameru Adonai yimlok le'olam va'ed. We could like take this on the road. This is, you guys are awesome. All right, we're gonna go over to the next page, page 18. Spread over us the shelter of your peace, we sing in the third line. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat, sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat, sukat shlomecha. Ya la la la, la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Uferos aleinu sukat, sukat shlomecha. Ya la la la, la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la la. La 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 la. Let's see. The Chatzi Kaddish is on page 20. Hold on.
Right?
Yeah, no, but I'm trying to think of the high holiday melody. All right. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba. Amen. V'yalma divrach hirute, v'yamlich malchute. Goes like this. B'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael b'gala ubizman kariv ve'imeru. Amen. Yehesh me Rabba mevorach le'olam olamei amaya yitbarach yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha berichu le'el Tehila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran v'yamaya v'imeru amen.
So do we sing along in different places on the High Holy Days? Or
Yeah,
we
there's
don't
some
during
of
the-
that. There's some of that. This music. I'll tell you what. When I do the little drush, I'll talk about this.
All right.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. Okay. All right. Page 74 is where the tefillah starts. You can stand if you want or sit. We'll sing the first few of the blessings together, and then just go off quietly, and you can sit whenever you're finished. Again, we'll try to sort of tap into some of the high holiday melodies here. All right.
Adonai sefata tifta ufia tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Okay, let's try this. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor HaNorah El Elyon Gomel HaChasadim Tovim V'konei HaKol V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot U'mevii Gula Livnei B'neihem L'ma'an Shemo B'Ahava. I forget how this part goes. Melech Ozer Moshiach
Umogain.
Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Yezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei HaKol Atah Lehoshia Mechakel Chaim B'Chesed Mechayei HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim Somech Noflim V'Rofech Cholim U'Matir Asurim U'Mekayem Emunato L'Ishmei Afar Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot U'Midon Melech Melech Umogain. Baruch atah Adonai. I'm sorry. V'ne'eman atah l'achayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh. U'kadoshim b'chol yom yalucha selah.
Baruch atah Adonai.
Adonai hakadosh. Oseh shalom b'roma, u'ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'akol Yisrael, ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom
ושלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
Erev Tov.
Erev Tov.
Thank you for playing along with my half-remembered high holiday nusach. Actually, let's say a little bit about that. So, the word nusach in Hebrew literally means formula. It means formulation. And it refers to two things in terms of Jewish prayer, Jewish liturgy. Sometimes nusach is used to mean what is usually translated in English as rite, R-I-T-E. And in this case, it refers often to different Jewish ethnic communities and the particular little differences and flourishes in the way that they pray and what's in their prayer books, right? And particularly the words. So there's like nusach italki, there's like an Italian nusach, right? And there is, there's Polish nusach, and there are various Hasidic nuskaot is the plural. So that like if you go into a synagogue that uses one of those rituals, you might be thrown off in the Chatzi Kaddish because there's extra words that aren't there like in ours. So nusach sometimes refers to the words. Also, sometimes it refers to which exact verses are read for which Torah portion. Like there are some Torah portions and half-Torah portions, if you look in the blue books, that it will say, Sephardic Jews start here, and it's like several verses, or end here, and it's a few verses before or after we do. Yeah, so there are some of these, differences. It's like custom. The other thing that nusach has is a specific sort of musical, cantorial meaning, which means a set of melodies, right? This is what people who go to cantorial school get exams on, and one of the many things that they get exams on. So, for example, the melodies like dun 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 dun, and that amen, like that. That is kind of, I suppose, Ashkenazi Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur nusach, right? Which is different than Shabbat nusach, which, if you're being picky, is different than weekday nusach, right? Like we're used to going when we're here. We're used to going. Shabbat we do Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotei Elohei Avraham, right? Here we do. Now I'm thinking of high holidays and I can't get the other one out of my head. High holidays Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu. Here we do. Shoot, now I'm blanking out on the week. I only have, it's why I'm not a cantor, I have room for two melodies. But right, we do this melody, we do. And the nusach may be slightly different for the three pilgrimage festivals, Passover, Shavuot, Sukkot, right? And the melodies may be different for like the morning service, the afternoon service, and the evening service, to the extent that if you had somebody who was really hip to this stuff, who really knew it, and you sort of blindfolded them, sat them down in a sanctuary, and the Karen got up and sang a certain melody for this prayer, they would go, festival morning, or Ne'ilah, the closing service of Yom Kippur, or whatever. So, so it's really interesting. There's sort of two reasons that I love and care about this stuff. One of them is just that music is super important to me, so I'm just really interested in musical things. The other one, though, is something, some of you may have heard me tell this story, and I'm telling it really just for fun and because it's an association I have with this time of the year, which is my brother and my dad and I sang in a high holiday choir at the Conservative Synagogue in Philadelphia, where I grew up. God bless you, for a very long time. I started singing in that choir when I was 8 years old, and sang up until the synagogue basically disbanded when I was in college. My dad was sort of the kind of volunteer director, and we all sang Boo Hiss Patriarchy, but in this synagogue in those days it was an all-male choir. It was 18 of us. And one of the interesting things about this choir was that there were a lot of people in the choir who couldn't read music. But the guy who was the cantor who was the kind of cantor, you know, kind of like back in the day where the way you became a cantor was not to go to cantorial school, you apprenticed with somebody who was a cantor. If you had a nice voice, and eventually they were like, yes, you know, you can, I put my hands on your head, like, you're a cantor now. So Cantor Goldhirsch, who was the cantor at this synagogue, had all these melodies and all these choir pieces and had taught it to the people over the years. And we would practice, we would rehearse, and a lot of what we did was ad-libbed. It was sort of like if you were listening to a chord and it felt like it had a hole in it, you'd just stick a note in there. And it sounded remarkably good, at least as I remember. We had some characters. One guy in the thing who was a bass used to get really hungry on Yom Kippur, as one does. Yeah, it's as bad as you can imagine. And he had these little like licorice pastilles that he would do. I mean, you could see into the choir loft, right? So you couldn't like whip out a Jimmy John's and like start to eat, right? But he would do this thing where he would have one of these things and he would pretend to yawn and go, you know. Sometimes people would doze off and miss their entrances. But the other thing, I don't know how many choirs are like this anymore. And I should say, I mean, this whole cantorial thing kind of went back in my family. My mother's father was a tailor full-time in the Jewish ghetto in Philadelphia, but he was a part-time cantor, and I have a picture of him with a high white cantor's hat, and, you know, pretty cool. My mom and dad knew each other growing up. My dad used to sing in the choir with the person who became his father-in-law and all this kind of stuff. The cantor, though, I don't know who does this anymore, but a certain amount of what we did was sort of ad-libbed. So like, ooh, I can demonstrate. So like, let's say the cantor was here and the choir loft was over there, right? So the cantor had a series of hand signals that he would use when he wanted certain things from the choir, and it was really kind of like as he went along, right? So one thing he would do, he would go like this, right? And when he went like this, and he would do it like over here so nobody could see, right? He would all like he would go like this. And this meant, I want you all to hum on a chord over which I will do all this cantorial acrobatics, right? So like, if he sang a passage that began Adonai, dum dum dum, right? And he went like this, he wanted the choir to go dum 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 dum, right? So, and then he could like do all his like fancy like acrobatics like on top of that chord. So that was this. There's no educational purpose to this. It's just fun to tell these stories. I'm realizing that. If he went like this, right? This meant repeat the last word I just sang on a chord. You know, hello, hey, Abraham. Hello, hey, Yaakov, right? And this meant that we were supposed to pick out a chord and go, Yaakov, like repeat that.
Is that
word.
universal? That simple?
No, I don't know where this guy got this stuff. I'm preserving these stories because, like, when I die, like, nobody will know these stories. You can carry them on if you wish.
Now it's on the internet forever.
Yeah, right. Right. Well, the other bit was, he would do this also like kind of thing. If he went like this, which did not mean Yahoo, it was Philly and not Texas, right? So here's what this meant. I mean, people would come every year and they would hear this stuff and these tunes, you know. If he went like this, what it basically meant was, they love it, let's do it again. Like if he looked out and the people in the front row are kind of like wiping their eyes, he would
That's intuitive, that one.
Yeah, no, like we're gonna milk this one. You know? We're just gonna, not enough people.
Like, let's wind this up.
No, it's not like, it's like, let's sort of stretch this out. So yeah, that was quite a time. The other story I'll tell you, which I don't think any of you would have remembered. So, after my mom died, you know, I spent a lot of time, you know, with my dad and, you know, and so on. And I had this idea one year that it would like cheer him up and be a good thing for him if we could like, if he and I could like rehearse one of the old choir pieces and sing it on like Yom Kippur or Rosh Hashanah. Now, were you here?
I think so.
Yeah,
I remember that. I wasn't here, but Rachel was here, and I just remember hearing.
Yeah, she was so my dad was like 93 years old at this point, and we would sit at the assisted living place and we would practice. He never lost this beautiful high tenor voice that he had, but he had these big old style hearing aids, and it always made me a little bit sad that sometimes he would sing out of key, which he never did, but I think that the hearing aids, he heard his own voice so much that he kind of couldn't hear exactly what was going on. So we practiced this one piece. Actually, it was El Melech Yoshev Al Kisei Rachamim, the one about, God sitting on a seat of compassion. We practiced, and it was this long thing that kind of went on and on. And I got up and I explained, and I gave the whole spiel that I just gave you about this and that, and I explained like where this came from, and I invited my dad up, and for 45 seconds of terror, I thought this was a bad idea. This is a big mistake, because he had a walker, his knees really hurt, his knees were like arthritic, and I just remember how long it took him to get up the ramp, and I'm thinking like, oh my God, I'm exploiting my father for like some weird, this terrible feeling that I was somehow like putting him on display. But he came up and we sang this thing, and I think it may still be on the temple website. Like some people got a kick out of it, and I think it may be up there somewhere. The video may be around somewhere. But when we finished singing, we looked out in the congregation and a bunch of people were doing this. It was just a great spontaneous, kind of lovely moment. So, I wanted to just share that. And I will say, like, when you hear, there's a certain joy in like singing in a choir, and when you're here, if you're here on Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur and you see the choir and they're just singing away and they look really happy, it's because it's a really happy thing to do. It's a really lovely thing to do. And I know Sarah and the group's been practicing. Also, I'll just say, yikes, we got to wrap this up. If you haven't stuck your head in Smith yet, the Ner Tamid is up. The Eternal Light's up in there now. Yes. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's quite something. Yeah, it's quite something. There's a whole, I won't keep us, but I'll tell you next time we meet if somebody reminds me about the conversation I had with the artist who made it and kind of what it was like to make it and this sort of process, which is super interesting. Because I said to him, this is like bespoke, right? Have you ever made anything like this before? And he said, no. So they had to figure out, like, it was like an engineering problem and an artistic problem. Like, how do you do this? And it's real interesting. I'll tell you about it. All right. Aleinu, inside back cover of the prayer book. If you want to stand, you're welcome to do so.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'atei gedula yotzer breshit, shehu asanu k'shomrei ha'adama, vehu samanu kishlekei ha'torah, shehu sam chayenu itam, v'gor aleinu kol ha'olam, v'anachnu koreim, u'nishtachavim u'modim, Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'ne'emar ve'aya Adonai lamelech al kol ha'aretz. Bayom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad. Ushemo echad.
Kaddish is on 598. Does anybody have any names that they want to mention of people that you are remembering? Okay, so page 598, we'll join together.
Gadal v'yikdash Shmei Rabba, B'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlik malchutei, v'chayechon u'yomechon v'chayei l'chol Beit Yisrael, v'adalal v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba mevarach l'olam u'lamei olamaya, yitvarach v'yitabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shmei Kudusha B'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, Damiran Bialma V'imru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya. Chaim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mamav. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel V'imru Amen.
So come on in, we'll make a little circle to finish.
I know the drill.
As we stand on the threshold of this Rosh Hashanah, this new year, we hope and pray that it will be a time of healing and renewal, of strength and principle and compassion and love for all of us, and more so for our world as well. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Eternal One bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May the Holy One shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May the Infinite One be with you and help you to find shalom, wholeness and peace in your life and in a world of greater wholeness, justice, and peace. And together we say,
Amen.
Thanks everybody. Thanks for coming.
I'll see ya Yom Kippur.
Yeah.
Do we do this next week or not?
We should. Yeah.
I'm in favor of it, but
Are we for real? We're doing it next
Yeah.
week?
You too. I'm out.
I guess I'll see you next week at meditation.
Have you
yeah.
been before?
It'll be a meditation
I
in
do.
between
Good.
the high holidays.
I can take your book for you if you like.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Yeah, glad you came. How did you? I'm always curious, like how people found out about this.
I live like 5 minutes from here.
Oh, cool.
I got a pack for
Where, like,
Dallas.
because I live in the neighborhood. We live
North Mart 51st.
Yeah. There's like an apartment complex over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know exactly where that is. Well, you're always welcome. I'm glad you came. Yeah. If it would ever be useful to you to like sit down and have a real conversation, you can call the temple here, ask for the rabbi's office, and look at your issues.
I'm scared of my father coming
Okay.
down
Okay.
to Austin to enter in all the
I actually
codes
did have a question.
manually
Yeah.
himself.
Come.
And
Would it
I
be
hope
appropriate for me to come?
he
to
drives me
the
back to
service, or is that,
Austin.
like,
But if he doesn't, that means I can't watch
Um,
TV until next time he comes to Austin. It's gonna be a while.
We are. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, it's a long time.
He's not coming to Austin for Hanukkah.
Oh, really?
I'm going to Austin for Hanukkah. I'm going to Dallas for Hanukkah, hopefully.
Okay, that's
It was
not.
a mistake not to go to Dallas for the holidays.